She is one of the hottest names in the jazz scene these days, hailing from Cuba, a country known for its rich history and vibrant and soulful music. Today on our interview, we'll be talking with Daymé Arocena, one of the best female singers of our country. For many Koreans, Cuba is still a faraway country, so it might come as a surprise that Koreans first began to move to Cuba as early as the 1920s, or that Cuba made financial contributions during the Korean War. So while South Korea and Cuba have yet to open formal diplomatic relations, there's already intense curiosity on both sides about each other's culture, not to mention substantial exchanges taking place through diverse channels. Cuban jazz diva Daymé Arocena took the Cuban music world by storm as a child prodigy. Her official debut album, Nueva Era, in 2015 was ranked among NPR Music's 50 favorite albums of that year. The Billboard praised her voice for encompassing a wide range of expression from whispers to laughs. Her music brings together the Cuban tradition and the American gospel style to leave a lasting impact on every ear blessed with her voice. A rising diva touring all around the world to sing the soul of Cuban jazz, the interview meets with the real Cuba through Daymé Arocena's music. It's wonderful to have you on our show. Welcome to our program. Welcome to Korea. I know it's your first time here.
Yes, it is.
How are you enjoying things so far?
It's been quite interesting. Every single time that I discover a new country, it is, of course, quite challenging. The culture, you know, the connection with the crowd, the energies, the vibes, the food. Everything is always a challenge.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you know, you get to enjoy it.
Did you have any expectations? Is it different from what you had imagined? Or?
Basically, I didn't have any expectations. I didn't prepare myself for something that I don't know. I just came here with my mind open, as I am always. And just to enjoy and just to vibe the things. It's not like, you know, going to Japan, for example, that I knew before to go to Japan about Japanese culture and Japanese food. But in this case, I just had to open my heart and my mind because I didn't have any information about it.
Sure. Sometimes surprise is good, right?
Yeah. Of course,
I've never been to Cuba myself. I would love to go one day. I know there are lots of colorful buildings and little cars, colorful cars. It's quite the opposite from Korea in a way. How did you find things?
Because Cuban people, we are really hot. We are passionate. We kiss each other, we hold each other, we touch each other. So here I feel everyone is like scared of any physical connection. When I touch someone, I always feel like people are like quite scared about it. When in Cuba it's totally the opposite. No, we for us it's totally normal to feel the connection, to touch, to squeeze.
Now, you've been traveling a lot from New York to London to Paris, etc. And when you land in a different country, each city has a different vibe, you said. How do you adapt?
Sometimes you don't have time to adapt. Sometimes it doesn't even matter. Sometimes it doesn't happen because sometimes you are making a tour where you're here today and you have to leave today or you have to leave tomorrow morning. So you just go straight to the stage, you do sound check, you feel the crowd, you sing with them, and then you have to leave. So some places I know I have been there, but I cannot say I was there. You know what I mean? But for some other places, I felt like and a strong connection with them. I'm talking about, for example, Brazil.
Oh, wow.
I fell in love when I went to Brazil, and I realized how connected we are, especially about music and about culture. Brazilian music is really excited for me. And for example, when I went the first time to Turkey, it was like an explosive country for me. All the colors, the details, the music, everything was so interesting for me, and I got the chance to exchange with that. There is some other cities that I feel more close mind, like Paris. In Paris, I never feel welcome. I mean, when I walk down the street, I'm not talking about the crowd. The crowd is always beautiful because when people pay to see you, they are expecting you to do something. They want to see you. They want to enjoy your show. But then when you walk down the street, you feel that you're not part of that world. You are in a place that is not yours. I don't feel that, for example, in London. In London, I feel that it's a place that everyone can live together. Everyone can respect each other. It doesn't matter the color of your skin or how do you look, which type of clothes you wear. It doesn't matter at all. So there is places that I will definitely like to spend more time and explore more and get more music and get more culture. There is some other countries that and cities especially that you feel you are not from there.
Well, Koreans are very passionate and welcoming and friendly as well. So hopefully you'll get to be able to connect with some people
totally.
Here
The first concert we did was in Busan, and I remember when I sing without shoes. Wow. So that's why I don't wear heels or anything uncomfy for me. I just wear like sport shoes and sandals. I have to feel free. And when I touched the stage and when I saw the reaction of the crowd in the first song, I said, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared anymore. The crowd was just amazing.
Oh, good.
I remember that I could feel like they were paying a lot of attention about every single thing we were playing and we were doing. Even when there is always people that cannot understand what are you saying, because of course I don't speak Korean, there is people that don't speak English or Spanish. The music was the link in between us, and that's what catch my attention from countries. The crowd, when I get the connection with the crowd since the first song.
Well, while you're an international sensation around the globe, this is your first time performing in Korea. Were you worried at all if words had gotten around this far to the Far East, whether there will be a good turnout?
Let me tell you, the longest journey we have done was Australia and New Zealand. That's the craziest one. Like basically, it's like 36 hours. Because you have to travel and stop and stop and travel.
Sure.
And when you land, you feel so weird and your body hurts and all of that. So I have done that one. I don't think nothing is worse than that. But let me tell you, coming here is really hard too. It's a long journey. It takes a long time too, especially in uncomfortable airplanes. I feel always uncomfortable in those tight seats and that long process to fly anywhere. But then what is more hard for us as Cubans is the jet lag.
Oh, I see.
Number one.
The opposite.
Number one is like
day and night.
for us. It's 13 hours. Let me tell you, number one, tough level, God level, believe me.
I guess when I was curious about how far you had traveled, also whether you expected a good turnout of people, whether people knew about you all the way here in this country, in this side of the world. Were you surprised at all that that many people had shown up to see your concert?
Yes. Yes. Do you know what? We have done concerts, I don't know, in Colombia, where you are expecting more crowd and you don't get it. And then you come to these countries and you feel maybe 20 people are gonna come to see the concert, and you see the hall full of people. It's so weird. This world is going crazy, but that's the good craziness. That reception really impressed me. I told them that they are in my list of best crowds ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
They really blew you away, huh?
They bottled the CDs. I couldn't bring anything to Seoul. I couldn't bring any, and I feel really sad about it, because it's not about buying a CD. It's about, that's the little moment where the crowd can see that you are a human, that you are someone that they can touch, they can hold, they can feel. And it's really sad that, I mean, it's a good sadness too, that we sold everything in Busan.
Now, I know you perform with the piano, bass, and drum trio, so do tell us about some of the other musicians in your band.
We are a family. We are a crazy family, 4 members family, 3 boys. Let me tell you, in the Busan concert, one of them said to a lady, "I want to marry you." And she said, "I'm married and he's my husband." And that's my family. So can you imagine? They are always making this crazy.
Sometimes you have to keep them in check, huh?
Yeah. But the good thing is that we have a beautiful and a strong connection. We developed that for a long time, playing together, traveling, laughing and crying together. We had to live any kind of experience. We missed flights. We had to sleep in trains sometimes because we have a long journey and it's not time to go to any hotel. Basically, we are a family. We spend more time together than with our own family.
Sure.
So I guess people see that in the stage because it's not the same when you are just like the singer and you have a band that could be anyone, anytime. In my case, it's always the same musicians, so that makes the performance stronger.
Oh, I'm sure. I know you performed in Korean, as in the Korean language this time around, a little bit of it. Give us a sample of it, and also, how was it practicing for it?
It was a nightmare. I have been in a lot of countries where at least you can understand a few words, or the letters are the same letters, just in different orders.
Sure.
But Korean is
it's
another
word.
Yeah. So when Johnny, my good friend, asked me to sing in Korean, I wanted to kill her.
I hope she's alive.
She's still alive. Yes, she is. But you know what? Challenge is a great side of life. It's interesting and makes things more spicy.
Sure.
So, being honest, I had to make a crazy job. I had, I woke up like at middle of the night thinking about the music, like so stressed about it. but I think it was nice. Sure. I think people got the vibe. I could feel the response.
I'm sure you've earned yourself many, many more Korean fans after that performance.
Yeah, let's see what's going on now. Maybe they ask me to sing in Arabian.
Your repertoire will only grow from now on.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. On her first visit to Korea, Daymé Arocena played with her own band, presenting a solid stage performance. Her passionate performances in Ulsan, Busan, and Seoul certainly left a lasting impact on those who were lucky to come and see her. A particularly well-received moment of the concert was Daime's special collaboration with Jisoo-yu, a Korean traditional pansori singer with Busan National Kugak Center, hearing the traditional Korean folk song Arirang. What kind of repertoire had you put together for this performance?
I'm a songwriter. Actually, I'm a composer. So I started to compose for some other instruments that is not just a voice. I studied classical music for 9 years, and what I used to do ages ago was to write music for choir, for violin, for trumpet, for piano, for cello. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm focused now in my career and in my songwriting. So my gig is always about the music I write. Normally, I defend the new sound of the Cuban music. I think people know a lot about the traditional Cuban music. People need to discover who we are now, and that's my mission. In the Busan concert, someone asked me, sing Guantanamera, and I said, no, because that's the song you know. I want you to learn new music. Sure. Then you'll be more special. When people tell you, like, I know from Cuba, Guantanamera, you'll say, but I know this song and this song and this song, you know.
Sure.
I think that's what makes the gig more excited and more complicated, because when you sing the music that people know, I mean, as a jazz singer, people always expect you to sing jazz standards, My Funny Valentine, and that type of stuff. And when you come up with a whole gig just singing your own music, you have two bags. The winner and the loser, and if you win, man, you're doing a great job. And I think that's the most interesting thing about my gig.
Sure. I know you're a music prodigy, and you started learning to play the piano and other African traditional instruments from a very young age. So what drew you to music in the first place? How did it all begin for you?
I always hear from my mom and my dad that I started singing before talking. They said I have singing my whole life. But the moment that they said this kid is get talent was when I was like 5 years old. They brought me into a kids party and someone said, hey, we are gonna make a competition and the winner is gonna get a toy, something like that. And I jumped to sing for my toy, and they were relaxed, like it's just a kids game.
Sure.
But when they saw me singing in front of everyone, moving my arms like a drama queen, they said, what? She's good talent. We should pay attention of that. So they got me into piano lessons, and I started singing in my choir community. That is why they told me, go to the conservatory to apply for the musical studies. And at 10 years old, I got the musical school to study classical music, straight classical music.
Sure. Now, your rendition of Bésame Mucho is hugely popular on YouTube, and I watched it. You're just amazing.
Yeah, normally I don't sing that anywhere, but I did it in Korea because people ask me about it. But it's a great song,
yeah.
And about singing great songs, the hard side is that everyone have done that. So what can you do to make a difference? And being honest, that's the type of song that people are sick of versions. So I came up with this one because a great friend of mine called Jacek Manzano, a trumpet player, huge, my respect and my love for him. When I was still in my beginnings, in my professional life, he told me, what about making this song with me? And when he heard my vision of the song, because the good thing about studying classical music is that you have to study as a choir conductor, that's what I am, the composer of the song, and the sense of the song, and the moment the song was written. So I had to sit and realize what she wanted to say, Consuelo Velázquez, what she wanted to express in that song. She was a teenager, she was 15 years old, composing that song that is telling about her hormones going crazy. And my version came up like that, and he loved it, and he decided to release it. And now, even when that song I sang it with him ages ago, people still ask me for that version. It's nice. Bésame. Bésame mucho. Como si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame, bésame mucho. Tengo miedo tenerte y perderte después.
I'm sure you've had your share of difficulties along the way in life, having come from where you come from.
That's the best part.
Sure. And if you could share with our viewers some of what you had to endure before today.
For example, in Cuba, we are open-minded for some things and closed-minded for some other things. Even when I am like a representation of all folklore, they didn't like the idea of me singing without shoes. They didn't like the idea of me singing with hair wraps, all dressed in white, being as I am, being pure black, showing my reality. You know, there is people in the world that had to say, hey guys, this is great, to catch the attention of my own people. So basically, I got the support and the response of the world before to get my country response.
Sure.
And I'm not talking about the crowd even, I'm talking about all the people that have the power to make your career work or not. In Cuba, for example, we have tough laws for artists. You cannot be an artist just because you wanna be an artist. You have to get a permission to be an artist. And you have to ask for another permission every single time you perform. And that's a governmental thing. It's not a record label asking you to make an investment in your career. It's just the government law. So it's not like, hey, I play guitar, I wanna play tonight. It doesn't work like that. You have to go to an audience, and that audition give you a right to perform, but it can take ages to get that authorization. So every single time that I applied for that authorization, they always complain about the music I was singing because it was mine. They were asking me, why you don't sing boleros? Or why you don't sing traditional Cuban music? And it was because I want to sing something new. I have my own voice. I got the gift of the composing. I want to sing my music. And they used to ask me, why you don't wear shoes? It is, I don't know, the crowd is going to feel weird about it. And I said, because this is my connection with the earth. This is my cell phone. I can touch the earth and I can feel the energy and the vibe and the heart of the world.
Sure.
But they didn't understand that. Then when I signed with a British label and with a French sponsorship and all of that, they say, oh, she's amazing. It's so funny.
Sometimes you do have to prove yourself.
Yeah, it's like, what? I have been here for ages and you never paid attention on me. But you know what, that's always a good thing, because there is two type of people that just believe in themselves and go straight away, and people that believe in some other people's opinions. And I believe in myself, and I walk straight
Good
away.
For you.
Yeah,
Good for you. Proud of you.
I think so.
Now, I know religious aspect and religion plays a very strong role in your music. Tell us what that means and why it's important that religion is reflected in your music.
Because religious music is so musical. I fell in love with religious music before to become a practitioner at all. I remember that there was a competition for composing, and I wanted to participate. So I made an investigation about the Cuban roots and the Cuban drummings, and the rhythms and the chants. And it was the first time I said, this is amazing. This is a world that I wanna discover. Then I realized that we had a class in my school for folkloric music. I started joining them and learning some drumming stuff. I'm the worst drummer ever, but I could learn at least the rhythms and all of that. And then I learned the chants, the dancing and all of that. And I don't know when was the moment that I decided to become a practitioner. I think it was just the natural way because I was so influenced with that music. So then the religion came to me in that way. That's why I always said, my religion is music. And every single thing that gives me musical information is my religion.
What about Cuban music, especially Cuban jazz, do you think that the world finds so appealing and beautiful?
I think the music that they can understand. The music that is simple. The music that basically we don't listen to. We listen in Cuba to more complicated music than the world listen from Cuba. Especially because timing in Cuban music is really hard because everything is about syncopations, and it comes from Santeria and bata drumming, all those syncopation stuff. If people cannot understand where the time is, people cannot move and people cannot dance. And in the nature of humanity, what you don't understand, you don't like it. Some people are strong enough to say, I don't understand it, but I like the energy. But I feel people should know better the responsibility of Cuban music in the jazz development forever. Basically, we created Latin jazz.
Sure.
What we call today Latin jazz used to be Cuba. Like bebop and cubop, the Cuban bebop.
Wow.
People like Mongo Santa Maria and Chano Pozo, Mario Bausa, and La Lupe, who is my queen. That type of guys, they combine our music with jazz music. And there is the result of jazz standards like Manteca and all of that big jazz standards. Is because Cuban people were playing in New York.
Sure.
Great Cuban music.
Rocking it, right?
Rocky.
Buena Vista Social Club was formed back in 1996 in hopes of reviving the love for the music of post-revolutionary Cuba. Now, I know you're a millennial, but do take us back to 1940s, an era of real music scene back in Cuba.
The thing with Buena Vista Social Club, in my opinion, is that they reborn the music of our ancestries almost. The music they played is like 100 years old. And for a lot of musicians in Cuba, it was so disappointed. Because in the 90s, we had another music and another movement, big, strong, solid, called timba. You know, I had a Canadian boyfriend that said to me, you know, what's the thing with the American culture is that they like histories. It doesn't matter the music, it matters the history. And that's what happened with Buena Vista Social Club. All they wanted to show is look, this is the music you used to dance when you were young, and you quite forgot it. Because the music of Buena Vista is a nostalgic music.
I see.
That rich people from United States used to dance in the salons of Cuba. It wasn't even the music that people used to dance in the streets. It was more like the music of salon. You understand what I mean?
Sure.
Then, the music we were doing at that time in the 90s was timba. Can you imagine to see like a big phenomenon that, hey guys, this is the music of South Korea, and it's a music that is 100 years old? All the musicians are like, what are you doing? What are you saying? Are you crazy? Like, hey, that's our tradition, and we love it, and we respect it, and we need it, and we study it. But this is not what we are doing now. So it was a big conflict at that time. I'm just talking about all the opinions of the Cuban musicians there, the reality, because I couldn't live that time. I was born in '92, so when the boom and the explosive phenomenon of Buena Vista, I was 4 years old. So I don't have any feeling about it. But the thing about tourism is that people just see what some other people want you to see. And sometimes you don't see the reality of things. Now, when you walk in the streets in Havana, all you listen is the music of the Buena Vista Social Club, because now is what makes money. So there is another side that is the music of Cuban people do, of Cuban people enjoy, the music that Cuban people dance, and this is the side of the touristic world of Cuba. The history, the music that they know is gonna sell some tickets, but when you program a concert of these guys in Havana or anywhere, Cubans, they don't go.
I see, I see.
And I'm saying this with responsibility, because I know the members of Buena Vista Social Club. Some of them are young, some of them are my people, my friends, people that I love and I respect. But at the same time, it's sad, because as a cultural woman, I need to show to the world what's going on with Cuba now.
Sure.
We need to move forward, respect and love of the tradition, yes, but this is what we are now.
Right, contemporary jazz, and that is what you're doing. You're doing so well,
so
thank you. Congratulations. Now, people have made a parallel between you and Omara Portuondo, who is one of the original members of Buena Vista Social Club. What are your thoughts on that?
I think when people don't know how to make things happen, they just start comparing to get any reference. I think Omara, she's a queen, she's a diva. She has an amazing voice. She's so soulful. You feel every single song she sings, and she represents her time beautifully. I represent my time. Sure. So I think that's the stronger connection in between both. When you see Omara, you can see her times. And I think when you see myself, when I actually see myself, I see my times.
Sure. Yeah. Now, I've never been to Cuba, like I said, but I hear there are lots of cafes and clubs that are where you can let your hair down and really enjoy music. Now, how has that culture influenced your music, do you think?
I'm not a nightclub woman. Being honest, I'm an old soul, but I love to hear the music of my friends, because Cuba is an island and we are all musicians. It's full of musicians, the island. We know each other and we exchange the music. I don't have to go to a gig of anyone to know what this person is playing, because we exchange music, we send, you know what, in Cuba we don't have the problem of get your music without paying. So in Cuba, that's not a problem. We do it. I give you my music, you give me your music, and I tell you, give it to everyone. Because, sure. Yeah, we don't have credit cards or free internet or anything like that. We cannot sell our music digitally, and nobody goes to the stores to buy music in Cuba. So that's the way we make our music fly.
Sure.
Just give it to everyone. Take it, take it.
I find it interesting that traditional instruments are used very frequently in Cuban jazz performances. How do you think these instruments stay relevant in this day and age?
Maybe because the sound is pure and it's a sound that represents ourselves. It's a sound that makes dance anyone. It doesn't matter if it's South Korea or Brazil. You know, you get it, you vibe it, you dance it. I mean,
I love how you break out into these little dances. That is so you, and that is just so
think
perfect.
In Cuba, if you go to Cuba one day, you'll see everyone is like that.
Now, I've noticed that lyrics to Cuban jazz songs, they're beautiful, but they're a little bit sad at the same time. Why do you think that is?
Let me tell
Sure.
you. The Cuban lyrics are passionate. And when you are passionate, you make drama for everything. Like, you don't say, I love you. No, you say, I love you. I'm gonna die if you're not with me. That's Cuba, you know. But
Sure.
it's not sadness. It's just how we are. It's passion.
Sure, you're expressive with your emotions too, which is where great music comes from, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, I don't know if you know, the history between Korea and Cuba go back a long way, about 100 years when Korean immigrants first went to sugarcane fields in Cuba, so about 100 years.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been many exchanges since then, so not a lot of exposure to
being
one
honest,
another.
I don't know a lot about it. I know a guitar player that is called Nam Sam. That I think he's Korean, I don't know, like third or fourth generation, something like that. I don't know even which Korea.
In Cuba.
In Cuba, yeah, he's Cuban, but he's too Asian, like. But that's the beauty of Cuba, because Nang Sang is totally Cuban. In Cuba, we don't have a shape of person. We are all different. So, for example, my fiance, he has long and quite straight hair, and he's lighter than I, but he has big lips. You know, because he's white and black, he has this mixing in between both. And there is people that is really, really light skin with big bodies, you know. Yeah, that's the beauty of Cuba. Like, you get this flavor from everywhere. You know, we're all mixed race in Cuba.
And if other Cubans are anything like you, I can see that you're full of life, and you're just so happy to be alive. And you wouldn't necessarily expect that from a country, one of the last remaining socialist countries in the world.
Yeah.
So where do you think that love for life and passion come from?
I think that's what makes us stay alive. That we really want to be alive, and we see the positive things always, even when everything could be wrong. We had really hard times in Cuba, but being honest, nobody dies, because we are all warriors. We have that in our blood, and that's our spirit.
Sure.
So.
Now, back in 2015, the U.S. normalized ties with Cuba under President Obama. Now President Trump came in and things have gotten a little bit rockier. How has that affected your musical career?
A lot, because now it's really hard to travel to the United States as a Cuban. It used to be really easy for me when the Obamas government. Mm-hmm. Basically, I didn't have to make interviews, for example, that at least everyone in the world has to, that requires a visa to go to the United States, needs to make an interview. I never had to do an interview. It was just to send my passport and done. Sure. Now, first, we don't have embassy anymore in Cuba, so I have to go through a third country. And that's the main thing that makes everything more complicated, because you have to get first the permission of another country to request the permission to go to the United States. We had to cancel a tour last year, the fall tour, the autumn tour. We had to cancel that tour in the United States. And this year, that is the first complete year we are living with this nightmare. We made a beautiful tour in the United States for 5 weeks, but in the middle, we have a concert in Vancouver. And it was a craziness because we had to go one day to Vancouver, make the concert, cancel another concert in United States to have time to apply again for the visa to go back to the United States. That's the type of things that makes everything so complicated when that used to be easy for us when Obama was in the power.
Sure. Yeah. How do you think your music, you're traveling, you're touring in the U.S., how do you think this can contribute to having a little bit of peace, of mind to
because people? My message is clean, and it's about human being, and it's about the music, the music and the beauty of culture, the beauty of being all mixed race. In the United States, there is a lot of mixed race people, because for us it's not about black or white, it's about just people. And I feel that's the best message I can send through my music and through my songs. As a Cuban, to get the chance to sing in the United States, the last concert we have done there was Hollywood Bowl, that is a huge stage for thousands and thousands of people. Even when Trump is in the power, you still get the chance to go. It's because the music is opening that big door for us. Sure. It's not about me, it's about my music. My music gives me the chance to say, hey, we are Cubans and this is the music we are doing. And we want to celebrate peace and love in between these countries, these two countries that are connected from the beginning of the history. And of course, we can see a reflection, we can see a mirror, we can see our own image. When I see American people and I see Cuban people, I say to myself, we are at least the same.
Now, last year, roughly 10,000 Koreans visited Cuba, and a growing number of Koreans want to visit Cuba, and there have been many cultural exchanges between the two countries, Cuba and Korea. What do you want the Korean people to know mostly about the Cuban culture and its music?
I feel that before to understand Cuban music, I will love more cultural exchange. Because music is one side of culture, and culture is food, culture is philosophy, culture is the way I move, the way I talk, the way I sing, the way I dance, the way I express. That's culture. And we have a lot of things to learn from Korea. Believe me, in this week, I'm bringing a lot of good vibes from here and things that I want to apply in my life. And at the same time, I feel Cuba has a lot of things to to exchange with Korean people, and I'm pretty sure that if we get a stronger exchange connection, there is good things that people are gonna apply from Cuba in South Korea too. That is why, for example, we have ideally the plan to come back here. And I said, yeah, but we need to be more people, and we need not just music, we need visual arts, and we need cinema, and we need everything. We need to show things. We need to explore more each other, because we have to make stronger the link. And that's my biggest expectation.
Sure. Are you familiar with K-pop, Korean pop music at all? It's quite popular around the world now.
Not me, but my little brother, he's 14 years old. He's crazy about anything coming from Asia. I don't know if that is Korean or not, but he's in that world. But my mom is watching Korean TV novels, like, how do you call it?
Dramas?
Dramas, all of that, and she cries, and yeah, it's coming, it's coming. I don't know about the music, but of course, if they watch videos and stuff from there, I'm getting that influence too.
Sure. Now, lastly, what kind of a musician do you envision to be in the long run?
A few days ago, the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, passed away.
Sure.
And I remember when I opened my Facebook, everyone was talking about it. And the world was sad because they felt they were losing something important. Mm-hmm. I feel that's what I want. She was important, she is important, because the legacy of her music, I want the legacy of my music to be important too. I want to have that impact when I pass away. People say we are losing something that made our days better because her music. And if that happens, it means I'm not gonna die. It means I'm gonna be here forever. Because if my music stays in this earth, I'll be here forever. Nobody dies if you are still in the mind of people. So if I am in the mind of people when I pass away, if my music is in the mind of people when I pass away, my spirit is gonna be happy.
All right, for sure. Well, thank you so much for your time today. You nailed it. All right, thank you and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Well, it was a great conversation I had with Daymé Arocena today. I learned so much about her country, her music, her passion for life, just everything about her and her world of music. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next week.